I see your light is breaking through. The dark of night will not overtake me, 'cause I am pressing into you. Lord, you fight my every battle, and I will not fear. I am not alone. I am not alone. You will go before me. You will never leave me. I am not alone. I am not alone. You will go before me. You will never leave me. You amaze me, redeem me. You call me as your own. You amaze me, redeem me. You call me as your own. You amaze me, redeem me. You call me as your own. You amaze me, redeem me. You call me as your own. You're my strength. You're my defender. You're my refuge in the storm. Through these trials, you've always been faithful. You bring healing to my soul. I am not alone. I am not alone. You will go before me. You will never leave me. I am not alone. I am not alone. You will go before me. You will never leave me. I am not alone. I am not alone. You will go before me. You will never leave me. I am not alone. I am not alone. You will go before me. You will never leave me. Wow, it's great to be here. I'm from Michigan. So. I just want to say Ken picked out this next song. This is All Saints Sunday, and it's called When the Saints, and it's really cool. It's Sarah Groves, and she's an awesome songwriter, as Ken said, and she's got 3 versions of this, but this is his favorite. Lord, I have a heavy burden. It's all I've seen and know. And your word is like a fire, and I cannot let it go. And when I'm weary and overwrought with so many battles left unfought, I see Paul and Silas in the prison yard. I hear the song of freedom rising to the stars. And when the saints go marching in, I want to be one of them. Lord, it's all that I can carry. I cannot leave behind. So I think of those before me who've lived a faithful life. And when I'm weary and overwrought with so many battles left unfought, I see the shepherd Moses in the Pharaoh's court. I hear his call for freedom for the people of the Lord. And when the saints go marching in, I want to be one of them. Underground railroad, I see Harriet awakening to the value of a soul. I see the young missionary and the angry sword. I see the family returning with no trace of fear. I see the long, hard shadows of Calcutta nights. I see their sister standing by that dying man's side. I see the young girl huddled on the brothel floor. I see a man with a passion coming, kicking down that door. I see the man of sorrow and his long troubled road. I see the world on his shoulders and my easy load. And when the saints go marching in, I wanna be one of them. And when the saints go marching in, I wanna be one of them. I wanna be one of them. I wanna be one of them.
Amy, thank you. I'm thinking either you could move to Illinois or we could all move to Michigan. So we had a few technological problems this morning, so that's why I'm doing things this way. And there we go. Sisters and brothers, this past week I had a vision, though not of life as it typically is, where we rush and worry and stress, which makes us all a mess, but instead of life as it can be, like when God's kingdom comes. In that vision, people greeted one another warmly with a smile and a friendly hello. No one was in a rush or a hurry to get where they needed to go. There were children of every flavor. No one cared how they looked or whether their food came from a pantry or was prepared by the family cook. It all began with generosity. Folks joyfully gave what they had, and no one took life too seriously, especially the moms and dads. The vision was so moving, my eyes began to tear. Everyone was acting out of love rather than driven by fear. The vision lasted just a little while, but reminded us of what we can do. So next Halloween, go to Lake Bluff, visit Center Avenue. Halloween was absolutely a reminder of what this world can be and how we can treat and love one another. And that's in part why we're here today. To be reminded, to be inspired, to bring God's kingdom to this world right here, right now. Let us pray. Lord, thank you for those times in our lives when we're able to gain a glimpse of life as it can be, driven by the teachings and values of the one who taught us simply to treat one another in the manner in which we seek to be treated. Lord, bless us with open minds and courageous hearts to be people of love and grace this day and every day. Amen. Please say good morning to those whom you're seated here. Friends, thank you all for joining us for this service of worship. We especially welcome those of you who are guests or visitors and with us for the first time. If you'd like more information on our church, please leave your name on the back table. The green book, leave your name and email address, and that will allow us the opportunity to send some propaganda your way and let you know about the kinds of things we have going on in the weeks. And, Christmas is next month, so there's a lot of exciting things going on. Also, there's a sign up for dinners for 8 on the back table. If you'd like to be a guest or a host, you can leave your name there. Also, Pam Campbell is raising her hand. And you can always touch base with Pam following the service. We'll get information from her in the coming week. This morning, right after the welcome, unfortunately, because of a number of technical glitches here today, the music video, Memories Not Forgotten, was prepared so it's a beautiful piece that Ken put together. Won't have a chance to do that today. However, we will make sure that's a part of our service upcoming very soon. Now, final announcement, other than hope you'll join us for coffee hour next door in Reed Hall right after the service for coffee and treats. And thanks to Bob and Jane for that, Rose. Last announcement is about the annual fund. This is the 4th week out of 5. To date, we've had 77 families or individuals participate. A grand total of $232,000 in gifts and pledges. We thank those of you who have been very generous for your gifts and pledges. That's towards our annual fund goal of $516,000. So in week 4 out of 5, we're about 45% of the way there. So we kind of have a ways to go. So to bring home the other $300,000 in the next week is Eleanor Janata. No pressure, just another 55% towards our goal. And come on up, Eleanor.
Well, I think I'm getting my just rewards because I called Rodney after he spoke 2 weeks ago, and I said, I accused him of fake crying to attract the ladies on stage. And Tom called me about an hour later and asked me to do it. So I woke up this morning with no voice. So, Rodney, what's the over-under on my crying? Thumbs up. Okay. Where do I start? Good Lord. I suppose with what it is I want to say about this community. Since I started coming here, I felt like I know a little background. I grew up here in Lake Forest, down the road. My family's faith was fair weather. As my dad said once to the minister, asking where he had been for a few weeks, summer is for golf, winter is for God. baptized, confirmed, and married at First Press, my mom's church. In an hour, I will go there in remembrance of her as part of the recognition of parishioners who died this year. Growing up, I went back and forth between the two, and always and throughout, I maintained an interest and studied other faith traditions, particularly those of India and the East. My husband Ross went to Kenilworth Union, where he lip-synced in the choir until he finished high school at age 20. With common ground with Episcopalian parents, he and I decided to have our children baptized at St. Chris's in the city. Truth be told, we were vying for a coveted spot at the church school around the corner from our apartment. When we moved up here, Holy Spirit became the place we went to worship, serve, and study a bit. Then, 6 years ago, our family took a giant time out. We moved west for a family sabbatical, a sort of spiritual retreat from suburbia, to a small mountain town in Idaho for 2 incredible years. Ultimately, our responsibilities to work and family called us back here. Re-entry was a bit of a bear, as we had returned a little different, with expanded perspectives and needs, I suppose. Enter Rodney Workman. His enthusiasm and invitation to come hear this guy who preaches with a newspaper in one hand and a Bible in the other was irresistible. Now, don't go telling everyone I brought you here, he first said. I don't want them thinking I'm all churchy. So, I hear you, Rodney. Here we are. So Ross and I were immediately hooked. Allie Ahern's rendition of The Little Drummer Boy sent shivers up my spine. Tom's Caddyshack references brought immediate buy-in from my husband. And with bleacher seats, BYO coffee, a reasonable start time, what was not to like? The spirit here felt real, and it took hold with our kids too. My son Peter saved a particularly inspiring bulletin and posted a beautiful prayer about suffering and faith in his bedroom. Our son Luke went on work trips, hardly working but observing, no doubt. And our middle school daughter Whitney made new friends and meditated at MSG. The community church and way of life and faith resonated. Clearly, these were no ordinary ministers. First was the super charismatic first responder in the pickup, who could bring a house of listeners to their knees with his powerful sermons. And then came Boy Wonder from Boulder. Pontificating piety, promoting peace, and supporting my interest in nonviolence in Chicago. For men of the cloth, they were abnormal, as my husband would quote, but fun and full of spirit. We enjoyed meals, music, meditation, and a heck of a lot of laughter with both the Dickelmans and Hancocks. We were reminded to take time to enjoy and celebrate creation. We were introduced to bocce ball and the David brothers. We took deep lessons with Elliot and enjoyed inspiring art like that of Renee Schuler. And Tom's creativity on the golf course was most inspirational of all. His shameless commitment to try to get better at the game revealed a faith and a hope which truly surpassed all understanding. Then this last year, the wheels came off the proverbial Janata family bus. We had more concerns than we could handle. And Tom, role modeling the true definition of a minister, showed up again and again and again, tending to Ross and I, our family, our marriage, our parents, our siblings and friends, pretty much everyone. In February at Northwestern, it's ICU, I watched him work his way down the corridor and care for doctors and nurses after a particularly challenging situation with a patient. He looked out for everyone. The demented decisions of the 18 and 80-year-olds in our lives were too many to count. The frequency of our phone calls for help became embarrassing. In short, it was a cluster. And Tom was our Uber pastor. At coffee shops, the office, the hospital, at the side of the deathbed, and later the cemetery, he came and always gave us a lift. Short on dogma, long on assurance, prayer, and always the reminder to put on our own oxygen masks and breathe. And here's who else jumped on the bandwagon and showed up to help. Zach, Daryl Bloom, Bram Cook, Jeff and Catherine Gailey. Faithful friends inspired, I know, by the highly contagious spirit that fills this place. During some pretty desperate times, the people that make up this community leaned way in and were never afraid. With scenes that were neither pretty nor fun. Showing the true definition of compassion, they walked alongside our suffering. This to me is what makes our church so much like a family. And like a real family, it is filled with a lot of love, humility, and a dash of dysfunction. And thank God, great humor. Years ago, while driving the city, I stumbled upon a random Moody Bible radio show. A man was ranting on about who was ministering to the ministers, reminding listeners to look after their pastors. I still think about it, especially in the wake of having received so much from ours. So now, as I find myself in a bit of a clearing from chaos, I'm hoping not to be asking for a while anymore, for a while anyway, what my community church can do for me, but rather what I can do for it. And I suspect that is to return the same gift of unconditional love and support that it has given me and my extended family. I hope you will join us in doing so. In good faith, these guys we call our ministers give generously and fully with grace, so much more than they receive. I want to make sure we have their backs. God knows we can always count on them to have ours.
Eleanor, thank you so much. It is indeed a pleasure to serve all of you with Boy Wonder. Thank you so much. And if you'd like to participate in the annual fund, the easiest way to do it, there's information on the back table. You can send me an email, whatever works for you. We appreciate your support. And now, with wonderful energy, could we please all stand if you are able and join together in singing When the Saints Go Marching. Mind you, that's the same Ken Hall who, when we hired him 17 years ago, said, well, I don't know why you want to hire me. I barely play the piano.
So the reason that Amy is here is because I have my neighbor, Linda, who's a lyricist, and she's very interested in neurology and Alzheimer's disease. And she wrote this song, the lyrics to this song that used to be. So Linda, I'm going to have you come up and we can talk and explain what it's about.
Hello. About 4 or 5 years ago, I did a documentary on Alzheimer's disease to, I wanted a series, it's on YouTube, to really make it easy for people to understand because it's so complicated and there's so many scientific terms out there. So I worked with Dr. William Klein over at Northwestern, and we created a really nice series. And he was the one that introduced me in this process to Augusta D., who was the first patient diagnosed with Alzheimer's disease in Germany. And after years, I thought, wow, I said, no one really seems to know who this person was, and she's such a crucial person to know. If she were alive today, she would have been diagnosed with early onset. She passed away in her early 50s. So I decided to create this story with music. And while it's a lot of creative liberty I took, it's not necessarily part of her life, there is a moment in there when she was with Dr. Alzheimer's, and he asked her to pick up a pen and write her name. And she says, "I've lost myself." She still had that awareness. So the song's a tribute to her, and it's also a platform for all those who have Alzheimer's disease and have had Alzheimer's disease. Because I think it's very easy to just focus on the disease when your loved one has it versus the person behind that disease. We can get lost if they don't remember the association that you're their daughter or their granddaughter or you're the husband or the wife. And a lot of emotions come from that. But if you just focus on the common bond of love, the emotions, touching them and their feelings, they're still inside there. And then also just another note, I think because I work in neurology, in a neurologist's office, I also go to nursing homes and visit those patients that don't have anybody. So I see how the dynamics of people inside these nursing homes, they don't have an understanding of Alzheimer's disease. I've seen abuse with staff right before my eyes with an Alzheimer's patient, and that's one of my concerns I try to bring up, that as a society we need to start building infrastructures that people really understand disease and that we're better equipped to address that. So anyways, I hope you enjoy the song. Amy will be singing it. And James Stonehouse, who's in Michigan, he composed the score and he does a lot of film scores.
My name is Augusta D. I'm here the me as I now am, not as I began. Lost in tangles, buried in confusion, no longer lucid, words fail me. Please don't leave me. Can't you see? I may not know you, but I feel your love through and through. Touch me, hold me, smile to show you care. My memories are fading, my brain is slowly aging, but your love is still felt somewhere in there, in there. My name is Augusta D. I'm here the me as I now am, not as I began. Lost in anger, drenched in sadness, feeling bewildered. Anxiety, please don't leave me. Can't you see? Moods are erratic. This disease is so tragic. Touch me, hold me, smile to show you care. My memories are fading, my brain is swiftly aging, but your love is still felt somewhere in there. You tell me I'm a custody. I don't know who I used to be or who I am now. Doctor, why am I here? I wanna go home. Pick up a pen, you say, write my name. Can't you see I'm no longer the same? My name is I've lost myself. My name was Augusta D. That was me the then that I was, not as I recall. I'm now in the clouds and see the world has others like me, suffering from this disease. Mankind must find a cure, all deserve one, whether rich or poor. Please remember, as you have the ability to do, your loved ones may not know you, but they feel your love through and through. Touch them, hold them, smile to show you care. Their memories may be fading, their brain may be failing, but your love is still felt somewhere in there.
Sorry about that.
The sermon text for this morning's sermon comes from Matthew 25:34-40. Then Christ will say to the righteous, "Come, inherit the dividends of the commonwealth of God. For I was hungry, and you gave me food. I was thirsty, and you gave me something to drink. I was a migrant, and you welcomed me. I was naked, and you gave me clothing. I was sick, and you took care of me. I was in prison, and you visited me." Then the righteous will answer Christ, "Rabbi, when was it that we saw you hungry and gave you food, or thirsty and gave you something to drink? And when was it that we saw you sick or in prison and visited you?" And Christ will answer them, "Just as you did it for all the people in the world, friend and stranger, sick and healthy, wealthy and poor, you did it for me." That's it, because we're about to head into a hopefully a funny story. Hotels, that wasn't so funny. It's heavy. Hotels and restaurants are said to be in the hospitality business. And truly notable hotels and restaurants have immaculate, verging on mind-reading hospitality. Now, but poor hospitality is equally notable. Have you ever been to a restaurant, the server comes to take your order after you've had the menu for about 30 seconds and says, "Are you ready to order?" And you say, "Not just yet, just need a couple more minutes." But you actually, when you say a couple more minutes, you mean a couple more minutes. Because maybe you have something to go to, a train to catch, whatever it is. But the server doesn't return in a couple minutes. The server returns after what seems like, and maybe is, a half hour. And you're trying to wave the server down to no avail. I've experienced what I call the server lag so many times that unless I'm confident the place has immaculate hospitality, the first time the waiter comes to take an order, I make an order. This is doubly true with children. No idle chit-chat when the menu's in hand. When I'm really on my game, I do advanced work by pulling up restaurants' menus, ready to go. The only weakness in this approach, the people you're eating with, they haven't done the same. And when the waiter says you need a couple more minutes, they probably do. Now, the point here is not to kvetch. The point is bona fide hospitality is hard to come by. And when we experience it, it's notable and delightful and transformative. Hospitality is perhaps the most practical, concrete, transformative virtue. And when experienced, it transforms individuals and the world. I know that many of you truly give amazing hospitality. I experienced some of it last night, both personally and professionally. And so my message this morning is riffing off the passage that I just read, but it's both an appreciation of all the hospitality that you all give and cheerlead for more, because hospitality is the way of Christ. It is the way of God. It's a 13th century word meaning bringing shelter or shelter for the needy. And we all are needy in one way or another. Hospitality can come in the most unexpected places. Recently, and this is the title of the sermon, recently my son Henry and I experienced bona fide hospitality in our front yard. A few weeks back, we had a landscaping company doing work, fixing our buckled concrete walkway. They were putting in pavers, J&A Lawn Care and Landscape Design, and love these guys. I arrived home with Henry just as Juan and his landscaping crew were heading for lunch in the back of the JA Landscape trailer, and they were sitting on coolers with a stack of tortillas and a gas burner and a big bowl of pre-cooked meat. And so Henry and I went over to say hello and to Juan and the crew, and after a few words concerning the project, they invited us to share lunch with them in the back of the trailer. Though I think actually the way it happened was Henry made the first move by asking for a taco. And then he proceeded to eat 3. But Juan's crew was delighted for Henry's gusto for tacos. The next day, Juan said, "We're so amazed with Henry and his love for tacos. Our kids only want to eat McDonald's." And I didn't have the heart to tell him, well, Henry's never seen the inside of a McDonald's, and as long as I'm in charge, he won't. And we're mostly vegetarian, so the carne asada tacos with corn tortilla lightly charred fresh off the flames were special indeed. But what was even more special was Henry and me to be welcomed into the back of the trailer, a place of friendship and camaraderie amidst the labors of the day, genuine hospitality, the kind that sticks with you. Hospitality is the way people from different backgrounds and ethnicity come to know and understand and love one another. It's the way people suffering from Alzheimer's feel loved, through hospitality, through that care. It's how, as I've said, the world has changed for the better, from our neighborhoods to the capitals of the world. One of the great unsung ad hoc ministries of this church is a hospitality ministry. And I had the privilege of attending this week a monthly music series conceived of and organized by Kay Waltman, sitting in the third row here, principally for her friend Posey Crable, who suffers from a form of dementia that impairs her memory and her recognition. And I attended the event this week. As I said, Elliot Delman played several songs. It's sort of a sing-along concert all in one. Really beautiful. Other musicians who have played, Ken Hall, of course, John Mulder, Steve Rashid, Christina Trulio, Paul Langford. When my mother tells me when my grandmother was suffering from Alzheimer's, singing and music seemed to just transcend the limitations of the brokenness of her body and isolation of her mind, soothing her in the midst of an often unsettling and frightening disease. And with this thought, I'll just say on All Saints Day, All Souls, we don't have a body with a soul. We are a soul with a body. And we need to recall that, especially with people who are suffering from Alzheimer's. The great spiritual teacher James Finley says, although it's true that there's no refuge from suffering, it's also true that suffering has no refuge from love delivered through hospitality. That permeates suffering through and through and through. These words echo the lyrics from Auguste Vie. Your words. The Jewish philosopher Emmanuel Levinas said, the only thing that really impacts people, the ultimate moral imperative, is the face of the other. When we receive and empathize and are hospitable to the face of the other, especially the suffering face, the face in poverty, it leads to transformation of our whole being, not to mention the one we're empathizing with. And when we receive, when we practice radical hospitality, we are transformed bit by bit, moment by moment, into the likeness of Christ. Truly seeing the face of the other, Emmanuel Levinas says, creates a demand on our heart that is far more compelling than the Ten Commandments or the Four Noble Truths can ever be. Commandments or truths don't change the heart. They may connect intellectually. They may be inspiring. It may steal the will, but it doesn't soften the heart like a personal encounter. And in this world of 7 billion plus, there's no shortage of faces to encounter. And I'll say, let's not exclude the faces of animals, of plants, of insects, of the face of the planet, the face that brought the astronauts to their knees when they saw Matter's face. And we'll end with this. Let us give and be ready to receive hospitality at this planetary level. Let us give and be ready to receive hospitality for the sick and poor. Let us give and be ready to receive hospitality in small and big ways. This week, let us, and every week, let's hope, let us be ready to receive hospitality with our fellow Americans, Republicans, Democrats, Independents. Let us give and be ready to receive radical hospitality in expected and unexpected places. Perhaps eating tacos in the landscaping trailer with a landscaping crew. Hospitality is the opposite of fear. It's the way of Christ, and hospitality is what has and what will transform the world. Amen.
Amen. This morning's sermon was brought to you by J&A Landscaping. Remember, J&A for all your landscaping needs.
They're good guys.
But we're also going to pass the hat. Please know that we are very grateful for the support you provided us.
I can only imagine what it would be like when I walk by your side. I can only imagine what my eyes will see when your face is before me. I can only imagine. Surrounded by your glory, what will my heart feel? Will I dance for you, Jesus? Or in awe of you be still? Will I stand in your presence? Or to my knees, or will I fall? Will I sing hallelujah? Will I be able to speak at all? I can only imagine. I can only imagine. I can only imagine when the day comes and I find myself standing in the sun. I can only imagine when all I would do is forever worship you. I can only imagine. Surrounded by your glory, what will my heart feel? Will I dance for you, Jesus? Or in awe of you be still? Will I stand in your presence? To my knees, or will I fall? Will I sing hallelujah? Will I be able to speak at all? I can only imagine. Yeah, I can only imagine. Surrounded by your glory, what will my heart feel?
nice. It sounds beautiful. However, the benediction is this. I was inspired by 59th Street Bridge song, which is Simon Garfunkel. If you know that song, I'll just grab your guitar. We're gonna just sing the first stanza together. I'll just change one word. I always thought it was moment when it's actually morning, so it goes like this. Slow down, you move too fast. You gotta make the moment last. Just kicking down the cobblestones, looking for fun and feeling groovy. And then everybody can do feeling groovy. Okay, so here we go from the top. At the end of this, since I'm Boy Wonder, I won't forget to say, and the people say. All right, here we go. Slow down, you move too fast. Gotta make the moment last. Just kicking down the cobblestones, looking for fun and feeling groovy.